We dismiss history at our peril.
Liberty Nation Radio with Mark Angelides.
Sometimes the word Orwellian just gets overused, and sometimes it doesn't get used enough. When language and books are censored, cancellation of free speech is pushed by the very government, and works of literature are cast down the memory hole, it's time to ask if America has gone full Orwell. Well, somebody with her pulse on the heartland of America's national columnist and executive producer of the Conservative 5 TV show, Miss Sarah Cowgill, and she's here to let us know what's happening and what folks are thinking in flyover country. Welcome back to the show, Sarah.
Well, thanks for having me, Mark. It's always good to be here.
Always good to have you on. Now, tell me, Sarah, how are flyover folks dealing with Orwellian culture wars taking place across our media and newspapers? Is it a burning issue for them, or is it seen as more of a coastal elite folly?
You know, it is a burning issue here. It's amazing to me how many people have come in to different places, different coffee shops, just did, you know, your grocery stores, the pubs, the restaurants, and you can hear them talking about Orwell in 1984 and the different books and the different societies that it seems we are entering in. And it's always kind of amazing to me when people start quoting from the original texts, and they do that here. A lot of people are rereading it. So if my little neck of the woods is kind of an indication of what's going on throughout all rural areas, then yeah, they're kind of disturbed by what's going on.
There's nothing wrong with ever rereading Orwell, always worth doing. There's a changing attitude taking place in the swamp, I think, Sarah. Now, you wrote recently on LibertyNation.com of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi back in 1991 when she visited China. Now, care to tell us that story and then compare it to her more recent comments on the Beijing Olympics?
In 1989, Tiananmen Square just basically blew up. There was a huge uprising, and everybody will remember the iconic picture of the one young student standing in front of the tank. It was an absolute, human rights disaster for China. Not that they care, but they covered it up as well as they could. They released, their own numbers. Most people on the ground and in the hospitals and in different places released, up to thousands in death tolls and injuries. And, the official China word was a couple hundred here and there. 2 years later, there was a junket to China, to Beijing. And Nancy Pelosi, then just a lowly newbie in the House of Representatives, was on that junket. She and two other of her colleagues unfurled a banner walking out on Tiananmen Square, and unfurled a banner that said, for those who, died here, I don't even remember the exact words, but it was rebellious to be in China and actually telling China how bad they were in this incident. And she was stalwart in her trying to keep the human rights, the genocide, all of the problems that China was inflicting on their own people. She was trying to keep that in the light of day as part of her job. Come 2008, when the Olympics were again in China, she wanted to boycott them, athletes and all, because of the human rights issues. Now here we are in 2022, and what she tells the athletes, the athletes from US of A, is to not anger the Chinese. That's a big difference.
It's a major difference, isn't it? What do you think's prompted this change?
I would imagine there's some behind the scenes relationships that we're not aware of. We may assume, we may have an inkling that those are going on, but she's not the only one. I mean, this isn't just a Nancy Pelosi reversal of course. This is an entire government reversal of course. Now, I also mentioned in that piece the book Red-Handed. And in that book, it covers a lot of different dealings between the people we have in our government now and the Chinese. And it doesn't look good. It's not a good look for America.
Yeah, I think a lot of it's also a new ideological push from within government on both sides, both Democrats and Republicans, where they don't want to get involved in a sort of a Cold War thing. And so they think that by use of interconnectedness through companies, globalization, if you will, that it will lower a threat level. But with that comes so many strings one might consider them puppets attached to such strings. Now, a final question for you, sir. What will stop the fast-moving charge to censorship that we're seeing now and the rewriting of history?
I would say that there needs to be an America first, an America first kind of agenda. I'm not saying bring back Trump. I'm not saying let's go down that path again. I'm saying that we really need to focus on this country first. And in order to do that, we're probably going to have to get rid of a little bit of baggage. And that baggage is sitting in the swamp right now with a cushy pension. They can go away. We need to, as Americans, get our elections where we all believe in them again, and then vote these people out and vote some new blood in that will take care of this country. Otherwise, we might as well just, steer into the skid.
Sarah Calgill, thank you ever so much.
Hey, thank you, Mark.
Coming up after this short break, is the government abusing First Amendment rights? Don't touch that dial. We dismiss history at our peril.
Liberty Nation Radio with Mark Angelides.
We're doing it for real, really real. Liberty Nation.
And Jeff Charles, contributor for LibertyNation.com.
I think we're starting to make an impact. Liberty style, fight for freedom.
The tracking poll sponsored by Liberty Nation for Thursday.
Mentioned by Dan Bongino, Rasmussen, Jordan Peterson, and
I
others.
can do it again if you want me to.
Cited in Mark Levin's American Marxism.
I think we're starting to make a really big impact. Get noticed. We're doing it. Rock on. I'm gone.